when I was doing these books, the artists, for all of my book covers, there's been two artists. I never met the people, never been on a call with them. I don't really know what they look like, but they got my book covers done. And I didn't hire them through Fiverr and Upwork where the work was guaranteed. I got a referral from one of my friends who used to review my books. And when I got the referral, I said, okay, I'll talk to them. And they could have cheated me, took my money, and never given me this. But we built a system where I'd pay them after the work was done, and they also had to trust me to pay them after the book cover was fully given to me. So we did this based off of a mutual trust, even though we never saw each other, even though we never spoke on call with each other, even though we didn't have a video call with each other. And I closed the deal on text because of a mutual sense of integrity. I will get my side done if you get your side done. On both ends. So the artist has to get their side done in order for me to get my side done, and I have to get my side done if they get their side done. That is integrity at its finest. And a culture right now is so transactional and has a deep lack of accountability and self accountability to the point where we're cheating each other. And I don't appreciate that. That's why I stay away from it, because I don't fall in line with doing bad to other people and being disingenuous with other people. You know why? Because it shows everyone that you are disingenuous to yourself. You can't even be held accountable to yourself. You're not responsible with yourself. You don't know how to manage your own time well. Because if you waste your own time, you're willing to waste other people's time. Why do you think I do YouTube? So that I'm not wasting your time. I give you direct value. And that's why I started to become more efficient with this. If you don't want to dedicate an hour of your time, then you can just dedicate 5 to 15 minutes of your time to listen to me and walk away with something of value that directly impacts you. And that's precisely why I started doing YouTube, and then I improvised my level of doing YouTube to break down clips that come out every day, the rest of the week, based off of just one long clip. So I'm trying to be more efficient in the process, and that helps me be more integral with the value of the message that I have for you. Now here's the actual story from my life. Integrity teaches you who you can trust and who you cannot trust. That's the other biggest lesson, because you you expect something from someone based off of how integral they are. I had a car and people will say it was just a car. No, sometimes cars mean more than a lot of things because they put up with you, and they are a truer tester of time if they've survived a long time. So I have a very old car, it's about as old as me, and we entrust that with someone. Someone else takes the keys and they crash the car and they don't pay for it. So first is I trusted you with the keys, I didn't trust that person with the keys. Right? That's the first lesson. So you basically proven yourself to be a distrustful person because you're not taking accountability for the fact that that's not your vehicle. It's not in your name. The insurance is not in your name. We're letting you trust it, right? And the only reason I can talk about this is because there was a friend of mine on the ranch that from day one he offered me his own truck, his truck that people still offer 30 to 35 grand for, a King Ranch, like a big dually King Ranch. And he knew me to be an integral person. I'd fill up the tank. I was willing to pay for an oil change by the end of the season because I was putting miles on it. I was willing to even change all 6 tires on the vehicle because I was also using the vehicle. I was willing to fix the door. I was willing to do a lot of repairs for the car. I did some things for the car. I don't remember exactly what, but I do remember I did some things directly for the car. I would always clean up the car. If there was empty cups, and if I had, like, if I went to Albertsons and I bought something and there's just now like an empty box of something just lying in the car, I couldn't, it's not, if it were my truck, I'd do the same thing, and it's someone else's truck, so I have more of an incentive to take care of someone else's stuff because I like them too. I love them in brotherly love, and I don't want their car to be dirty as much as I wouldn't want my car to be dirty. So I'd clean it out, Even if it was a mess that I didn't make, I'd clean it out. And that's integrity at its finest. As fine as it can get for the situation. And I wouldn't just, because he entrusted the key to me, I wouldn't entrust the key to someone else and say, yeah, here, take the truck. Because it isn't mine, right? But however, in my situation, someone else gave someone else a key that belonged to a car that belongs to me. And then I realized, I was like, I can't trust this person with a damn thing. So what it does is it teaches you who you can and who you cannot trust, because the chances of you finding someone slip or catching someone when they slip in this type of situation is very slim. The chances of you catching someone cheat on you in a relationship is actually very slim. So when you do catch them in the act, and when you do find out that they've been doing that, and you find out that they've been dishonest, you're more likely to start having to think, when were the other times where I didn't find it, when I didn't catch them in the act? And then you'll realize a lot of people are actually untrustworthy in the first place. And what did I say? It's a response to the culture. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong. Like, oh yeah, but you need to give second chances. Second chances are important if they're met with actual improvement, and if they can even be self-accountable people. When I started YouTube, I spoke about self-accountability. It's there. My Fundamentals and Create a Belief playlist talks about self-accountability in 4 different videos. I broke down self-accountability to such a vital level, to very fundamental level of who you are and how you do things, everything. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you can't see opportunity, perspective plays a big role. So I'm going to tie in perspective and self-accountability. Perspective plays a huge role in self-accountability. Perspective in how you see an opportunity at every corner of your life, every day, to be accountable to yourself. You said you were going to do something and you didn't do it. So if you can't even be true to your own word and what you said you were going to do, you're never going to be true to what your employer says to you. You're going to find ways to cheat or to be sluggish in that work. That's why I talk about self-accountability. It doesn't just make you a better person in your workplace, it makes you a better person as a whole. Because when you say something, you actually mean it, and you don't say anything you don't actually mean. So you mean what you say and you say what you mean. That's what self-accountability provides as a result. If you take this lesson, right? And it's odd because between the last 24 hours, I watched 2 separate videos. One was a sermon and one was a business lesson. And both of them were talking about perspective. In the sermon, the pastor said, perspective is not just about what you see, but how you see it. And then in a business lesson, it was talking about sharpening the axe of your mindset is about being able to change your perspective. So being able to see more opportunity where it otherwise wouldn't exist. So a common example of this would be when someone tells you to go look for something, like, oh, can you go into the cabinet and look for XYZ? But you can't see XYZ because your mind doesn't want to see it. So it comes from a scarcity. You can't trust your own mind can't trust you to look for something. Have you ever thought about it that deeply? And people will say, why are you going into philosophy? Because how you do this is how you're going to do everything. If someone else told you to manage a business for a week, let's say you're second in command, and the business owner says, I'm going to take a vacation for a week, I need you to be responsible. But because your mind doesn't trust itself to look for opportunity, when you could have made an opportunity to make that business owner $1 million that month or that week, because you believe in scarcity, you're not going to see that opportunity, and then you're going to say, yeah, well, we only performed less than average this week because we didn't have you. But he was trying to show you, he was giving you an opportunity to be more integral. So you know how parents leave and they say to the oldest or most responsible sibling, they'll say, you're in charge. We're going on date night, you're in charge. It's because they find you to be the most integral person. So it's not just an opportunity for you to hit the target but over exceed the expectation. And that's how you should treat every opportunity in life. Integrity is one of the most fundamental aspects. And this is just, if you implement this as a teenager or a young adult, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, you'll thank yourself so much.